Happy Tuesday, so they tell me. I'm excited to be joined by these faces today. We have Joe Starr. You're looking a little skeptical. Hi, Joe. How are you?
I like that you just called me Joe Scar because that's
It's badass.
That's my new name. Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's your evil twin brother that we haven't met until today. In fact, that's who you are today. Joe Scar joins us.
Very well.
Danielle Radford is here. Yay!
Hello. Hi.
It's happy to have you again. Those are words, and I used them correctly.
You did all of them. Right?
GIlbert.
It's very Michael Scarn, like Threat Level Midnight.
Joe Scar.
Yeah.
Let's see where this character takes us today. Let's just take the journey together. You, me, all of us together in the Zoom. Venom 2 gets a title and a delay. The delay is obviously not as surprising as perhaps the title will be, which is Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
Hell yeah.
So that's that title. Anyway, it was supposed to come out on October 2nd, 2020. And then
my birthday.
Launch 8 months later on June 25th, 2021. Oh, damn it all.
There go my plans.
I know. I had that little heart on my calendar with just some blood dripping out of it that I'm going to later get as a tattoo on my ass. So Venom, next year, Sony's moved basically every movie that was scheduled to be released in 2020, including the other Spider-Man movie, Morbius. That's notable, but it's also a question for me in terms of like, well, let's just stop and talk about the real thing, which is the title. I'm not surprised because I think they understand that the thing that everybody liked about Venom was how weird Tom Hardy got once he had the symbiote, and that nothing else about the movie worked. So if they're going to lean all the way into that tone, I'm here for it.
Well, I mean, the Venom franchise is the Venom U is not subtle. So I think they need to just go the Spider-Man home naming convention route, and from here on out, every movie has the word Carnage in it somehow. I applaud them for not jumping straight to Maximum Carnage. The Spider-Man storyline, I have no doubt that they're building towards. I guess that's movie number 3. But Let There Be Carnage is just dumb and silly. And like you said, Roth, all the best parts of Venom were like the dumb, ridiculous parts. So I hope we're just leaning in.
Yeah, I'm rolling my eyes at it because I loved Venom so much because it's not a good movie, but it's a really fun movie. It's just like it's really dumb. Tom Hardy's in a fish tank. It's fine. So Let There Be Carnage. It's never gonna not make me roll my eyes, but at least it lets me know that they know what movie they made and they know that that's why we liked that movie. So if it's more dumb stuff like that, then more like weird, like Venom and Tom Hardy are weird boyfriends, and now they have to go up against like another possible weird boyfriend, I'm into it.
Spencer, here's my concern about the film. This is a real concern, is that I think, not unlike the rest of the world, I was shipping Hardy and Hardy. The relationship that I cared about in that movie was Hardy talking to himself as much as humanly possible. And I'm worried that Carnage is going to come in and kind of like third wheel it a little bit. I feel like my ship's going to be broken apart. I'm not into it.
No. Look, Simbrock, we all ship Simbrock. We know that. What's Carnage's guy name? What's
Cletus.
Woody Harrelson's name? What? Cletus?
Literally Cletus.
Okay. What's the ship name for that? Cardus? So Simbrock and Cardus, right? You're just adding layers and potential third and fourth wheels even. 2 and 2, it's like exponential. Now there's
that's what the children are doing, and I don't understand it. But the children all like they're thruples and quadruples.
Everybody's in a polythruple these days.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense to do a Carnage, Cletus, Eddie, symbiote 4-way movie if you want to get the kids.
And then also a woman's there.
I hope that it's like that it's Eddie and Cletus, just like both. Because my favorite beats of Venom were when he has the symbiote, but he doesn't quite know what to do with it yet. And it's just like 20 minutes of Tom Hardy making weird noises and like getting the munchies,
like a man.
Getting intense munchies. Yeah, I want him and Woody Harrelson to be doing that for the first 2 acts of the film. And then everyone hooks up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what? I was worried for a moment, but I've come back around. You've convinced me that it's all going to work out. By the way, is that true? Are like kids just dating 5 people at once right now?
That's what they
You
do.
think we know what kids are doing, Roth?
No, I have no idea.
None of us has a TikTok. Like there's dance challenges that we will never.
Let's ask Ryan.
Ryan, what are the kids doing?
Ryan gave me the thumbs up.
Ryan's like 28.
It was like, that's how we do it. That's how we roll.
I haven't seen a teen in the wild since high school.
I think Spencer
Ryan's 10 years old and not over.
I think Spencer's roadmap for Venom 2 is important because Venom ultimately was a movie about self-care. And I really think, Spencer, your pitch really kind of keeps the ship headed in the right direction.
I want to see the comeback, though, of all the best Tom Hardy noises. I want to hear, yeah. I want to hear, duh. I want to hear, I want to hear them all.
Yeah.
If they ever remake Police Academy, I want him to be the guy that makes all the sound effects, even if he's not good at them.
Helicopter, womp, 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 or whatever. That's my Tom Hardy impersonation.
And I think we can all agree, we want Eminem back for part 2.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask, do you want it to be a different rapper, or do you want another Eminem track?
Well, I think it's going to have to be a duo, like a back and forth. Maybe we'll get Uncle Cracker out of retirement for the Cletus parts.
Wow.
Yeah.
They'll do Little Nas X. Little Nas X. It's fine.
Yeah.
I also want them to wrap the soundtrack of my life. Quick printed retraction here, which is that it's not every movie, but nearly every movie Sony has moved back. You know, I don't know what else to say about movies moving back. I think we have to move off the movies moving back. They're moving back, folks.
I do think it gives us a nice break from comic book stuff.
Yeah, there's fewer this year than normal as a result.
I really think
there's a lot fewer movies this year. It's weird.
So strange.
I mean, it's Bloodshot, and like that's it this year.
And Wonder Woman.
Yeah, absence makes the heart grow fonder and all that good stuff. I don't at all mind that we're getting less I mean, I hate that we're getting less movies, but I don't mind that we're getting less. And I famously, like, I love comic books, like they're my huge thing, but it's like sometimes it's like in Matilda when the big kid gets the chocolate cake all to himself. I've had way too much chocolate cake for a while. I'm okay with like a vegetable.
Yeah. Okay. So if we break it down, we've had Birds of Prey already, Bloodshot, as mentioned. Although that was released at home early, Eternals, if it still sticks to November, and then Wonder Woman. And that'll be that. That's it for comic book movies this year, which I kind of like in terms of the comic book movie or to not to comic book movie debate. I just feel like now it's a genre, right? What we just named are 4 very different films. So to me, it's like I actually think it doesn't make sense as an argument anymore that we want more or less of them. It's like, do I want more or less of any given genre? I guess it depends on the movie.
Yeah, let's also not neglect all the Disney Plus shows that are coming out this year.
Yeah,
like that's filling that hole.
But they're all delayed too.
But they're
some of them.
You mean in 2020?
Right? They haven't yet, right? No, they delayed those too.
Yeah, everything. I think this really actually helps the MCU because they're in such a rebuild, like a reset phase right now. I think a lot of people who might have looked at the new slate of titles and gone, I don't know what an Eternal is, will now just be like, I'm just happy to see a Marvel movie on the big screen. So honestly, I think it helps them out in the long run.
Yeah, and Eternals has moved to February already. Black Widow is taking the November Eternal spot. So that's already happened.
Sorry, update on the script that was wrong that I didn't write, and I'm blaming Ryan, who also came in with the correction, but I ultimately blame myself because the buck stops here, ladies and gentlemen, and that was wrong. You're right. Black Widow moved into that spot. Eternals had already moved, and you know why I'm excited about the Eternals? You guys should know this by now.
The director made the horse movie you like.
Thank you. God. Anyone listen to me?
I didn't know you were a horse girl.
Well, I have a horse face, but Chloe Zhao, who directed The Rider.
Pause. No, we're not.
No,
you take that back, or else we're not continuing the show.
No.
Oh, we have to. We're being paid to. We have to do our job. Chloe Zhao, who directed The Rider, which is a movie I loved, and thank you, Spencer. I've talked about a whole bunch and asked people to watch, which I still encourage you to do, is directing The Eternal. So I'm very, very excited for it for that reason. And also, I mean, like, look, I'm not alone, and I'm not unusual in being thirsty for Kumail. Like,
Do we think he's still keeping up them abs, like in quarantine? Like, do we think he's still doing that? He's still doing all of his push-ups. He's still getting all of his protein.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's slaughtering 16 chickens a day. As
and chasing them as part of his workout.
Yeah,
you gotta catch him and then he can eat it.
You gotta catch. That's the whole workout plan. Is you have to chase the chicken, slaughter it, and then you have to like debone it, which is the arm exercises, and then roast it. Because that's how it becomes delicious.
But with friction created by your own skin, and that's
that's how
you keep your heart rate up.
Across your abs.
It's like a Kundalini experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're killing it today, you guys. It's a great show that we're making for the people. Also, speaking of Marvel and Disney things, Marvel Disney is ending creator deals. This is via THR, and this is another impact of production being shut down. So, sources tell THR that they've terminated overall deals with showrunners like Steve Lightfoot of The Punisher and Paul Zabiskie of Hellstrom. So this is basically, again, one of the impacts or the results of production being shut down. And one of the questions that we have is if this will impact every kind of showrunner with overall deals or every creator with overall deals that is not at the level of a J.J. Abrams or a Shonda Rhimes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it probably will. I know that I can't remember the exact name of the clause, but most of these contracts have basically like act of God clauses. Unforeseen circumstances will allow us to terminate this.
Force Majeure, another good movie.
Force Majeure. Thank you.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think most like lower tier people who are just like, yeah, we're keeping you around because we like this one little thing you did, are probably just going to get. Those are going to be the easiest sort of numbers to cross out on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have talked about this. It's so interesting for me coming back onto the show, and it feels like everything has done this like boomerang, where all we were talking about where this person signed a $100 million deal, like this person signed a 3 show deal, and now it's all like, well, this is gone, and now this is gone, and now this is gone, and now this is gone. It's been I mean, obviously it's what's going to happen, and that's just what's happening, but who knew this is how the streaming wars were going to wind up kind of ending?
Well, I don't know if they're over yet. You think they're over?
Well, I think that obviously things are going to continue to stream because that's what we have right now, and there will be different forms of content. But as far as this kind of game of Risk that everyone was playing, where they're like, I'm going to get this country, I'm going to get that country. I was going to say another nerdier game, but no one will
do it.
But yeah, as far as like collecting resources and this thing and that thing, and this is
Settlers of Catan.
Settlers of Catan was what I was going to say.
Talking? Okay.
But yeah, it was
Hero Quest.
It was like Settlers of Catan, and so it's not going to be so much that anymore for at least a while, and that felt like a lot of what was like fueling the streaming wars was this grab of I got to get all of my guys, I got to get all of my talent. And essentially hoarding talent and seeing how much you can hoard, and now having to watch people slowly let all of that go. There's still going to be like, obviously all of these companies, they've been planning this forever. They're not going to not do HBO Max, but it's not going to look like what it was going to look like before. And the competitive spirit of throw as much money at it and see what sticks, because you'll make it back in the long term, that's gone for a while.
That's interesting because I think there were the overall deals, like Netflix, for example, was doing exactly what you're talking about, where they were making exclusive deals with Shonda Rhimes, for example, or even I think Mark Millar, they had an overall, although nothing has ever come of that, and that has existed for like 3 years. So I don't know, because I don't know, this was via Marvel. Not ABC. So the deals were with Marvel Studios and not ABC. And the question I have about that is that Disney, and we've talked about this before, and I know a lot of people will say like Disney as an org is fine. They are making enough money to feed entire nations. That's probably true, but the revenue streams have been hit in multiple places, as we've said multiple times, across parks, cruises, and things like that. So Disney in particular is tightening the belt, and I think that will have a ripple effect for Disney in particular over the next 2-3 years. And I don't know how responsive they'll be on Disney Plus, or if that changes the nature of Disney Plus. But it feels to me like the streaming services are even more competitive now because we don't know how long people are going to be reticent to go to theaters. For example, I think Spencer's fairly reticent, even when things open up. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not itching to get back into a room full of coughing people, but it's tricky because yes, this is like a great time to be a streaming provider because that's the only form of entertainment left to us, short of getting drunk in our rooms. But I think what Danielle is referring to is like they've been trying to overwhelm us with content and promise us all these exclusive shows that are going to be there with launch and that we're going to keep feeding you and feeding you and feeding you. But there's no production. There's no production's shut down. So these things have fairly quick turnaround, certainly more than movies. Like sometimes they're releasing episodes while they're still shooting. And like, if everything's delayed, it's just going to be a streaming service with old NBC shows or a streaming service with old Disney movies on it. And you're not going to get that constant stream of new stuff that they were promising that was going to keep them competitive.
Or as these lower tier creators get caught sort of to Roth, your point with sort of A-listers probably fine, like Ryan Murphy's not going anywhere. But to Danielle's point, like with some of these lower tier people getting cut, like as that continues and the smoke clears, are streaming services going to look at their bottom line more and be like, oh, well, we can get just as much of a return off of a crafting show,
off of Love Is Blind, off of
Love Is Blind,
things you can do like
what
this.
Hellstrom costs, and people watched it.
I think you're right, Joe. I think it's going to be exactly that because you can also have a much smaller crew on a show like that than on a Marvel. You know, if you really
heard that point because I'm trying to talk differently than I am when I'm making jokes.
Oh, okay. Yes, because Joe Starr.
Joe
Starr says, but that was I think you're right. That's, I think, what they'll do, Spencer, is that they'll lean into the types of shows that, first of all, I was thinking about. So The Voice, as you know, I watched The Voice. You probably don't know, but I watched The Voice. And I've been wondering, like, what are they going to do? So they've been dragging it out till they get to the live show rounds. And if we actually get to the point that you can have people of under 50 people, groups of under 50 people, you could probably still do that show. You just couldn't do it with an audience. But you can't, when you get into these really high tier productions, that's where it's like you have to have a set of 100 people.
Yeah.
Idol is apparently going full Zoom.
Are they really?
Yeah. Oof. Just auditions from home.
And it's something like The Voice. If you cut it down to a 50-person crew, you can. What winds up happening is the audience winds up being your crew, which is something I now know from firsthand experience. Your audience winds up the crew winds up being the audience if that is what you wind up having to do. So, like kind of the Soup style, where it's like, well, just the cameraman will laugh, and that'll be really funny.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if there's more of that too.
Look, as testing becomes like faster and cheaper, we shouldn't, obviously we should prioritize people who are dealing with the illness and there's a shortage, but you can't imagine that months from now, that'll still be the case. Hopefully we'll ramp up testing. And it does seem like a 50-person crew of people, if, they're all staying together in a hotel and they all test negative, that is something where you could shoot something for a couple weeks.
And sets will have doctors or a medical professional on them. They will test you using those infrared temperature tests. So everyone who comes in every day will have to be tested. Catering is going to change. All of those things are going to change. And they'll have to sign off and say, like, this is what Danielle Radford's temperature was. Today she tested at 97.5 or like whatever.
I want to film a high drama show with that group of people where like somehow someone still gets it. They're like, but how? And you find out that like one of their spouses like attended a protest or something. A big twist.
It's like a zombie movie.
Yeah, they've been talking about that it would look exactly like that, sequestering crews, testing them every day and smaller. I think so. The other thing that is still going and they're still able to be in production on is animation. So I've been wondering if we just get a ton more animation shows in the next few years.
Don't hate it.
But it takes a long time. Animation also takes a long time. So there's kind of like really it's going to be reality, just like it was in 2008 in the writer's strike. That's just the easiest, lowest hanging fruit to produce. It's the most cost effective, all of it. People will watch it. I mean, what Love is Blind was the one where they were basically sequestered anyway, right? Like they were quarantined.
Yes,
for a while,
before,
Yeah, and so was The Circle was another one where it was like everyone was in their own room.
Yeah.
Very weird timing, but good timing. Everyone was in their own room and you communicated through this stuff.
The new one on Netflix, they're basically sequestered too. The one where it's a bunch of like vacantly sad, broken, hot people, and they can't have sex for
Too hot to handle.
Yeah, too hot to touch.
Too hot
Yeah,
whatever.
Too cold to hold.
Very sad. It's very sad. But they're all sequestered.
Why is it sad? They're hot and horned up, Joe.
No, but it's just weird watching them make basic discoveries. Like, I didn't just have sex with someone for like 3 days, and I'm starting to realize maybe there's more to me than that. And you're like, oh
baby.
It's personal growth. It's called an arc.
It's just the very saddest arcs. And the robot,
that's like really
the robot that runs the show,
tiny arc.
It's a very tiny arc.
It's like a little anthill of an arc.
There's a woman on the show who sounds like Paul Rudd's impression of someone doing an English accent from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And she's like, I like him because he's also not smart like me. She's like, oh,
that's great. It's true love.
They find each other.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm with Scarman up here. I think that's sad.
You'd like it, Roth, if you watched it.
You
lose money for hooking up. It's a devil's bargain.
It's actually really weird to watch.
Keep it in their pants long enough to get some cash.
Yeah, because they're so hot.
But here's the thing, though, is that like if you do a sex thing, you lose money. But like sometimes someone will do a sex thing and everyone's like, but you know what? You guys earned that kiss because you've developed your relationship. So we're fine with that $5,000. It's really weird watching them rebel against the rules because it's also not a ton of money that they all get to split. It's like $100K split among 10 people.
I mean, I'm sure it's just whatever, like I'm sure it's just whatever you get paid per episode. And they're like, well, we'll keep you on for more episodes.
And then you sell appetite suppressant lollipops on your Instagram for the
you do. Flat tummy tea.
But it's just weird watching them rebel against the rules because they're like, we deserve horniness.
It's a show for our times, Roth.
Don't we?
I think I'm upset because I think I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, you're gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Did you watch The Circle?
No.
Oh, you gotta watch The Circle.
Circle's good. Circle's actually quite good.
No, Ryan's giving me the thumbs up. Also, I'm going to take a Ryan appreciation moment because in our shared document, he issued an apology for the incorrect release date. But you know what, Ryan? It's okay because I should have caught it too when I was saying it out loud. And it's you and me. We're in it together, man. We're going to get through this. We're going to do it together. I'm getting hand claps right now. I'm getting hand clap symbols from sweet, sweet, sweet Ryan. Say something nice about Ryan, everyone.
He's fired.
Okay, moving on. Ring that bell.
Starr.
Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, for ringing that bell, for hitting that like. It's what keeps sweet, sweet, sweet poor 10-year-old. He's not unlike Oliver Twist, Ryan, employed. And if you don't want him to be on a bread line begging for soup in song form, then you'll like this video.
Begging for soup is the saddest ska band.
That's Venom 3.
Begging for soup.
Begging for soup.
That's all of us in 3 months.
But if you just want to be cruel and see Ryan singing for his soup, then go ahead and
Wait, people want to see that.
People do want to see that. If you do want to see Ryan singing for his soup, then you'll like this video and share it.
Wait, I just realized that this is all part of Roth's master plan to rule the world within a few months because she bought all that butternut squash soup.
In the land of the soupless.
Roth will be
You want some? Dance for me, monkeys. So thank you guys for tuning in every day. We're doing this bit by bit, day by day, and we have more fun stuff for you to watch and to enjoy. For example, this Wednesday, the 22nd at noon, we have the Sonic writer, Pat Casey, Pat Casey is joining us for a video AMA called Hey Fandom, and you can sign up right now. There's a link in the description, and you should definitely sign up and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a few surprises planned for you. There may be a Wild Spencer appearance in the mix.
What?
And you are going to be able to ask your very own questions of Pat about Sonic, potentially Sonic's future, about how he got a job, which is my question. How job? And all of that is in support of Direct Relief, which is a great organization that we've been supporting right here that gets much needed medical supplies to the people working right on the front lines of COVID. Their link can be found in the description as well. Please do support Pat, and please do support Sonic the Hedgehog, because he's just a sad, lonely boy. And come to this event. It's going to be fun. Thoughts?
Well said. This is going to be a fun show. Just a cool, awesome, like call-in virtual Hall H kind of deal. And you guys are going to dig it.
So Danielle, you were making some good points about HBO Max still coming at us. It's coming at us in our face. And they finally released the day that it's coming at us in our face. Oh, Sarah's here. Hi, Sarah. It is on May the 27th, which we've been wondering about this. We've been like, it's seemingly going to come pretty soon, and yet we haven't heard anything about it yet. Sarah, in particular, has been like, what's going on with the marketing there?
Very frustrated in general about the delays with the Friends reunion.
But now it's going to be released on May 27th, They debuted a bunch of trailers for new series to launch on the streaming service. We watched some of them. They include Love Life starring Anna Kendrick, a documentary on the record, which looked amazing, a Sundance 2020 official selection underground ballroom dance competition series. First of all, need I say more? You have my dollars. It's called Legendary. Crafttopia, hosted by YouTube star Lord DIY. Lord DIY. You guys know her. Do you know her, Danielle?
I don't know her personally, I don't think.
Okay.
But I've heard of Laura DIY.
Okay.
I believe she had a really good mask tutorial that was going viral for a bit.
I'm way too loyal to Nick Offerman and Amy Poehler's awesome show Making It to put another craft show in my life.
You can only have one crafting show.
Only one, and it's Nick Offerman's, and it's delightful.
Not unlike the Thunderdome. Okay, I get that. Looney Tunes cartoons from Warner Brothers Animation, and the Sesame Street Workshops, The Not Too Late Show with Elmo, which I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but it looked really cute.
It looked really cute, and you had me at Casey Musgraves. I was confusing the Anna Kendrick show Love Life with the Anna Kendrick show Dummy, but they are different shows.
What's Dummy?
Dummy is the show where she goes on a road trip with a sex doll.
Gold, Jerry.
I missed that one.
Yeah, that one slipped under the radar.
That Elmo show does look great, and I am shocked that they haven't already done that with the Muppets on the Disney side. Like, right? That seems like the go-to easiest idea with what do we do with Muppets is you lean into the fact that they're amazing improvisers, and the best part about them is people's surprise as they interact with them. So I think this looks fantastic.
I mean, Jimmy Fallon's been doing late night for children for years now, so it was only a matter of time before someone else tried it.
It's a weird mix, though, those shows. It's like
a weird mix. I liked the Looney Tunes show. I did watch the trailer. Question: are those Bugs Bunny's children, or are they other children?
Those are definitely Bugs' kids.
Yeah.
Bugs
and yellow gloves.
Busy.
He's a rabbit.
He's a bunny. They have the phrase for a reason, Danielle.
But I was really weirded out by them yellow gloves, you guys. He has white gloves, right? Am I crazy?
I didn't notice. I just noticed. Interesting. Maybe
they do have yellow. Well, they're in a pool.
So does Bugs.
Yeah.
Like in all the shots, like he has
now they're white.
Yeah. Weird. It must be some kind of gag, some sort of goof.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're yellow.
Yeah.
Is the dress blue or gold?
Seeing Bugs Bunny hold an iPhone just reads wrong to me. I love these.
The kids don't bug you, but the iPhone does.
Yeah. I mean, I love these characters and I love like slapstick animation, but how is it that this looks worse than the 1940s? Like,
and it's also got that problem. I was talking about this with Joe of the wrong sounding Muppets problem.
Yeah, it's just a little off. It's like Uncanny Valley with the voices.
The hair off.
Not loving it. I'm a big Looney Tunes stan, so I want to like this, but I didn't like what I saw so far. I do like I do like Legendary. That looks fun. I remember we were talking about docs earlier, and I forgot to mention Paris is Burning, which is one of the all time great documentaries. Probably available on Amazon or something for free, and it's like that scene in the 1970s or maybe 80s of New
York. Was like late 80s, early 90s, I believe.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Do you want to explain what the scene? So it was a little later, I think, but I won't get into the detail. But I had a girlfriend who was in one of the houses, and she was like the only female at all in it. And do you want to explain what it was? The houses and how they worked?
It's basically like, well, I don't feel qualified to establish the history of ballroom for our audience, but it's if you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, it's like it's one part costume, one part dance, one part like showmanship, and the houses are basically like dance crews. I don't know what to. It's unique.
It's like kind of its own battles.
Thing. It's a dance battle, but it's also like theater, it's jokes, there's different categories of dance, and
the houses are like also they're like family. It's like
they're surrogate families because a lot of these people are runaways or kicked out by their family, especially in that time period. So
it definitely looks like Eyes Wide Shut did Do You So You Think You Can Dance. I'm kind of into it.
Yeah,
so Eyes Wide Shut got it from them. So it's all the.
I think this was all over New York, but they had them all over the world, but they definitely had them in New York, and it was basically like these underground competitions, and they had these like groups, these houses, and they were basically, it's like a dance gang, and which is amazing. And my girlfriend was in a house called the House of Milan, and which was like one of the lower tier houses, if we're honest, but still cool.
They're no ninja, they're no LaBeija.
I just think it's amazing. Like, I think it looks amazing. That one looks like a very fun doc series. The one that does not look fun but looks really, really great is On the Record. Love Life, I didn't get to see that trailer, so it's not about a sex doll, you're saying?
No, it's not the sex doll one, which I really thought it was, which is a show. I'm not making it up. It's in the sex doll talks. I think Anna Kendrick plays both characters, Anna Kendrick and also the voice of the sex doll, who she goes on the road trip with because the sex doll is like a feminist. It's a thing.
Lars and the Real Boy.
Yeah.
No, it's a grown sex doll's a lady.
Oh, it's a lady.
This one looks like a very well made young lady discovers herself and gets things together. And everyone looks good in it, and Anna Kendrick's great, and there should be more of her. So
agreed on all fronts. But I will say from like a brand perspective, this is definitely leaning more Netflix than Disney, in the sense that there's not really cohesion to it. It's like a bunch of wildly different things, some for kids, some very much for adults, and a lot of for Legendary, it's The Kid in All of Us, I think.
And a lot of them are like, they're not spending a lot of money on that craft show. Like, they're not spending the animation, obviously. Like,
you don't know how good those beads are. You don't know how nice.
But nothing on here is screaming like, huge budget Game of Thrones things. These are, within their, whatever.
It's weird that their huge budget Game of Thrones thing is just going to be the cast of Friends sitting on a couch.
Yeah,
that's going to cost $30 million.
Yep.
The couch is even getting a cut. Like,
that's going to cost $30 million.
Gunther's a billionaire. Remember Gunther?
Are you guys going to sign up? Yes. Gunther was dumb. It was a dumb trope. I'm sorry, Friends lovers.
Friends stance coming for you.
No, I can absorb all the Friends hatred. I'm on the record. Show's not good.
I mean, I think they have to wait a while to get an identity. They don't get Harry Potter for a couple of years. There's so many big franchise stuff they have that's wrapped up elsewhere.
They're getting Justice League dork.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dorkness. Yeah. Justice League got dork-sided.
And, dork-sided. And Doom Patrol is going to be on there as well, which is great because a lot of people are, people will watch Doom Patrol. I do think it's a really, really good show. They're not going to sign up for DC for it. I hope that the Harley Quinn show also moves over.
You mentioned the Game of Thrones spinoffs, right, Joe? Or the prequels?
I did not, but
those are coming.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
When we can get to Iceland.
Yeah.
I
Is
would.
the world, I mean, think about, you're talking about production, going back into production probably over the next several months where people are sequestered into a hotel room in Bakersfield. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're looking at shows that can be shot that way. You're not getting international crews flying to Iceland for 1,000 people to
I
be
feel like
present on
Iceland is
set.
like, they're already quarantined from the world. Like, you don't
Until we bring our filth.
you don't pop out
Yeah.
Bjork and Sigur Rós or whatever if you're in contact with other human beings.
Yeah, but we don't want to bring our nasty,
Yeah, you don't want to get Bjork sick, Spencer.
Yeah,
right?
leave us alone.
What are you, a monster? Spencer
No,
wants to
they're
kill
gonna
Bjork.
throw like
Monster!
they're gonna like sprinkle
Vomiting.
fairy dust on you when you walk in, and you'll be fine. They have
Okay.
a druid magic there.
You know what, Danielle? I'm going to give you the last word
Oh, no.
on this program.
Just in general.
Just in general. I was like, I'm just gonna ask you a question. Yeah, no, I'm really interested to see how many shows wind up looking exactly like what we're doing right now or taking their cues from. Because again, when the Serval came out, like that was huge and a huge hit. And that was, I believe, before any of this hit. So I'm very interested to see how much of that stuff is in production. I know that some shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is now in production and they're all doing it remotely and by Zoom. And I know other productions are doing so as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm
Roth
wondering.
has a question.
Yeah, I'm wondering, sorry, just really quick, how many shows are going to do, if they can't get right into production right away, we'll do something like this where it's like, well, we're going to just read the pilot script and do it as a script reading so you guys can see it.
So you said Brooklyn Nine-Nine is in production on Zoom?
Oh, not production, but they're doing
pre-production.
Yeah, they're in pre-production, so they're the writers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, what is like, what's the case? I was like, that's so clever. If they found a reason why the 9-9 is all solving a case just on Zoom and they make it a Screen Life episode for their, I'll be really impressed with the creators. But no, I'm unimpressed because it's not what they're doing, according to Danielle.
Yeah, no, they announced it, like someone was talking about it on Twitter, that they're all back in the writer's room now, but virtually.
Kids, it's been good to see you today. I like your face in particular. I also I love that face. I think Joe Starr has been a great addition to the group. Spencer GIlbert.
Present.
And Spencer and I we're present and accounted for. We showed up.
Yeah.
Ryan showed up for work. Today, everybody's doing their part. You do your part unless you want Ryan to starve to death and support this video. And that's an SJ thread.